Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday afternoon. I'm actually streaming from Instagram and Facebook, so if I'm not looking at one of the cameras, please excuse me. So I titled this broadcast, The Flu and How to Prevent, and also what to do for a faster recovery if you are exposed. I really kind of felt led to jump on my personal page because I've seen so many people recently who have had the flu, or someone in their house has had the flu. And I just wanted to mention to you what some of the ways that you can, or some of the things that you can do to prevent this from happening and from you to being exposed and coming down with it, but also some things that you could do if you are exposed that will really help you recover faster. So just looking at, I was kind of just doing a little bit of research looking at, I've heard so many people say lately, the flu this season is an epidemic, and on and on and on. And so I was looking at the CDC's website, and I found it quite interesting that the CDC estimates that the vaccination will be effective against about 30% of the H3 virus, which is one of the strains of the flu. And it's the one or a component of type A, which is what I'm seeing most people are saying when they were swabbed, that it has come back type A. So 30%, that's not really great, in my opinion, for a vaccination. Now this live is not about whether or not you got vaccinated. That's a personal decision that you have to weigh the risk and benefit. A lot of people ask me if I get vaccinated, and the answer to that is no. I choose not to do that, but that's because I have informed myself of the risk and benefit. So you should never take somebody else's word for it. You should do your own research and, make an informed decision, educate yourself. I do have a video on our A Natural Shift YouTube channel if you want more information about the vaccination itself. But at any rate, what I really want to talk about is prevention and then faster recovery. So this flu season, 2017 to 2018, the CDC is considering it moderately severe. So, it's been pretty bad. And I think we probably all know of someone, if it's not yourself, who has come down with it. So let's talk about prevention first. Prevention with any kind of illness, good hand washing. I think that kind of goes without saying, but I would say to you parents out there, make sure that you're really reminding your kids of that. I'm constantly telling my kids, when you go to the bathroom, before you eat, before you put your hands near your mouth or in your, anywhere in your mouth for sure, or touch food, make sure that you wash your hands. What we want to do is really create a very strong immune system, because that's what's going to help us fight off. We're going to come in contact with, whether it's the flu or some other type of illness, and we want our immune systems to be extremely strong to be able to fight these things off. So I know most of you who I'm friends with know that I use essential oils. There are two particular essential oils that I use to help increase my immune system and my entire family. On Guard is one. On Guard is a blend of oils. It's called the Protective Blend, and it really helps to boost your immunity. And the other one is frankincense. These could be applied topically on a daily basis, or you could take them internally. I personally take frankincense internally, a couple of drops under my tongue every day. Just good for overall immunity and decreasing inflammation in the body. So that's one way to strengthen your immune system. For your kids, you can just apply these topically to the bottom of their feet or along their spine every night before they go to bed, or every morning before they go to school. The next way to help really boost that immune system is to incorporate more essential fatty acids into your diet, like omega-3s and 6s. This just really promotes overall good health, but one thing that the omegas do is they increase white blood cell activity. And by doing this, first of all, white blood cells are part of our immune system, and they're really involved in protecting our body against infections and just foreign invaders. So the more increase in that white blood cell activity, it just helps to build our immunity. And omegas do that. So whether you're taking a supplement, just an omega-3, over the counter, you could certainly do that. I personally like to take my omegas in doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. It's a 3-pack of vitamins that has all of your standard multivitamins, minerals. It has your omegas, and then it also has a cellular complex that's really great for keeping your cells clean and healthy, and increasing that immunity. Really important multivitamin that you know where it comes from and that it works really well with your body. Okay, the third thing is having great gut health. Gut health is super important because 80% of your immunity is in your gut health. So extremely important to have good gut health. So how do you have good gut health? You take probiotics. We don't get enough probiotics in our food. So it's really important that we supplement and take probiotics on a regular basis, every day, daily. And you can take, I love doTERRA's probiotic. It's called PB Assist. They make a kids probiotic, which is great. It really is very tasty, actually. It tastes like a little pixie stick. It's a little bit sweet. It has some xylitol in it, and just kids love it, actually. So that's a good way to get them into your kids because you want them to have really good gut health also. Another thing that I love to do for gut health and probiotic related is eating fermented foods. And everybody's not going to like that. I get it. I didn't used to like that, like fermented foods, but things like sauerkraut, fermented veggies, kimchi, those things are really delicious in my opinion. And they do really help get those good probiotics into your system. All right, number 4 on the list is vitamin D. Now, it's interesting because there are some studies on vitamin D showing that it can really help in cold and flu season, help as far as prevention goes. So vitamin D plays a really key role in boosting our immune systems. And how do you get vitamin D? Well, you get it from sun exposure. That's the best way to get vitamin D is from sun exposure. And if you think about the fact, it's always been so interesting to me, if you think about the fact that when does the flu hit? There's a flu season, right? It's typically October through March is kind of the flu season. It's typically, when we're not outside getting as much sun exposure, so our vitamin D levels are going to tend to be lower. So isn't it interesting that, that's when cold and flu season is, when we probably have lower vitamin D levels? Well, that's actually not coincidental. So studies have actually shown that low vitamin D levels can lead to a multitude of diseases, even things like cardiovascular disease, not just the flu. And that these studies have shown that patients with the lowest vitamin D levels were the most prone to cold and flu. So where am I going with all this? What are you supposed to do? I like to take extra vitamin D during the winter. Now, you can have your vitamin D level tested if you wanted to go to your doctor or your provider and have that done. The reality is you're probably not going to get too much vitamin D from taking a supplement. So what I like to do is take about 2,000 IUs. It comes in what's called IUs, which is international units, a day. I just bump that up. And if I'm really traveling or know that I'm going to be inside, I'll even bump that up to about 4,000 IUs per day during the winter months, as I said. Now, if you look at the data on this, and you shouldn't take my word for it, you should do your own research, but if you look at the data on this, they'll give you a range of taking somewhere between 1,000 and 4,000 a day. So that, it's kind of a wide variance. Even kids, infants, up to teenagers can take up to 1,000 a day. And I do give my kids extra vitamin D, 1,000 IUs per day. So that's one way. Now, of course, sunlight's the best way to get vitamin D. So if you can go outside and stay 20 minutes in the sun every day, then great. But most of us don't actually do that during the winter. So add some vitamin D. And then the last one for prevention is vitamin C. I think most people know that vitamin C increases your immune system. You can take up to 2,000 milligrams of extra vitamin C a day. I take about 1,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C. Over 2,000, you can have some GI upset, so you probably want to stick with, no more than 2,000. Okay, what if you get the flu, guys? I mean, none of us are completely immune to that, right? I mean, these are things, I'm doing all of these preventative things in hopes that I won't get it. And even let's say I had decided to get the vaccination, then it may not even prevent against or it doesn't prevent against all strains of the flu. So I'm going to do all these preventative things, but if I do end up, or somebody in my family ends up getting the flu, here's what we will be doing. Increasing water intake. I mean, that's so important to just really flood your system with water. Stay hydrated. The flu, you often have a fever that really dehydrates you. So you want to make sure that you're drinking about 8 ounces of water every 2 hours, at least that amount. I mean, that's kind of minimal, really. So really staying hydrated. Getting the proper amount of rest. I think that kind of goes without saying. You need to get sleep, and typically you feel really bad and you're really tired and sluggish anyway. But do make sure you get the proper amount of rest, because your body cannot heal and repair itself if it's not getting the proper amount of rest. The next thing is I would increase my probiotics. Instead of just taking once a day, I would definitely take twice a day. I would be taking my probiotics twice a day. Again, increasing the immune system to fight off what you've been exposed to. The next thing, that whether it's the flu or not, or just some other type of cold or illness, and me and my family always use a certain blend of essential oils that is very highly antibacterial, antiviral, and really helps to get rid of things that you're exposed to very quickly, and helps, with a quick recovery. It's called the Flume, and that's just an acronym for 5 different essential oils. They are frankincense, lemon, On Guard, oregano, and melaleuca. And what I typically do is I'll keep those in a small roller bottle that's diluted with some coconut oil. And for the kids, I would rub that on the bottom of their feet or along their spine about every 2 to 3 hours. So oils work with our bodies, and they're used up by our bodies very quickly. So we need to use them more often than you would something like a pharmaceutical medication. Now, for myself or an adult, so say my husband was sick, what we do is we make a little veggie capsule. It's just an empty capsule, and I'll put 3 drops of each of those 5 oils in the capsule and take it internally. Just for kind of, added punch. I mean, especially when you're a parent, you got to take care of everybody else. You want to, really knock this out, right? So we'll do that about every 3 hours during the day when we're sick. So that I can tell you guys, and I know many of you who I'm friends with use essential oils, and if you use them and you use doTERRA, you're familiar with this blend, and it works. It works so well. Now, the other oil that I do also like to incorporate is Breathe. Breathe is the respiratory blend, and Breathe really helps to open up the airways. It helps with any congestion, and it just helps you breathe a little bit easier. I like to diffuse that one, and then also you can dilute it and apply it topically to the chest, and that works very well. Now, there are 2 more things other than essential oils and the things that I've mentioned to use if you do end up getting the flu. Elderberry syrup is one that there's actually some research on elderberry syrup. It's not for prevention. It is for helping to kind of short circuit flu symptoms. So if you come down with the flu, it really helps with symptom relief. And in one of the studies I was looking at, they quoted that relief of symptoms occurred 4 days earlier in those who took elderberry syrup and in those who did not. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, the flu can last 7 to 10 days. I mean, that's a really long time to be sick. So anything that can kind of cut that time period shorter, of course, you would want. So you can think about, you can buy elderberry syrup on our website, anaturalshift.com. We actually have a recipe for that, so you could make your own that incorporates essential oils if you wanted to do that. That's there for you. You could just search it on our website and you can find the recipe. And then the last thing that I want to mention that some people I think probably don't think about doing when you're sick is a detox bath. We actually did a class on this yesterday on our brand page, which is called A Natural Shift. So you could hop over there and see more about detox baths if you like. But let me just kind of give you the quick and easy. Basically, you take a warm bath and you put Epsom salt. I do about a half a cup of Epsom salt, a half a cup of baking soda, and then there are two. Now, I normally take a bath with those two things anyway, but there are two other things when you're sick that you can add that really help to remove toxins from your body and help you recover quicker. And those things are hydrogen peroxide, about 1/4 of a cup of hydrogen peroxide, and apple cider vinegar, about 1/4 of a cup of that. So these are things that most people have on hand in their house. You're not having to go out and get these things. Epsom salt, baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, apple cider vinegar, most people have those things. I also like to add essential oils to the bath. My two favorite probably for this, if I were sick, I would probably add lavender, which is extremely relaxing, and deep blue. Because if you've ever had the flu or a fever, you know that your joints and your muscles just ache and they hurt. Deep blue is a soothing blend that doTERRA makes that is really great for helping with those symptoms. So those are the things that if I were exposed to the flu, if I came down with it, or if my family members did, those are the things that I would do to really cut and shorten the course. Now, if you have not had the flu and you want to really kind of arm yourself with some of these tools, especially the essential oils and the probiotics to really boost your immune system, but also to have tools on hand such as those 5 oils I mentioned, that Flume blend, so that when you or your family do get sick, because at some point that's going to happen, you will have those things on hand that you can grab quickly to really knock that bacteria or virus out. If you want to learn more about these oils and how they work and how to start really very simply with just a few simple oils, we are having a class tonight on our brand page, which again is called A Natural Shift. My sister Carrie Cootie, we are both going to be doing this class together tonight. So we would love for you to join us. It's at 8:30 and we'll just be going live right on our page at 8:30. So if you haven't liked our page, you can go like it and it will alert you when we go live. So join us for that. The video will also remain on our page. So if you're not able to tune in at that time, you can always go back and watch it. But we'll be talking about just some very simple, basic ways that you can get started with oils and natural products to have on hand for when things like this come up. All right, guys, I hope that this was somehow helpful to you, and please post if you have any questions, and I will be happy to answer them. You guys have a great day, and I hope that none of you get the flu.